Solomon the Magician King. Foundations of Western occultism. King Solomon is widely celebrated for his immense wisdom, but what is often overlooked is how far that wisdom extended into the occult. Famous in legend for binding demons and commanding them to build the temple in Jerusalem, Solomon became deeply associated with magical practices. Chief among these is the tradition rooted in the Key of Solomon literature, a body of magical texts that have haunted the shelves of medieval libraries and continue to influence occult traditions today. These texts were feared by religious authorities. The Inquisition sought them out, condemned them, and tried to erase them from existence. Yet they survived, scattered, hidden, passed from hand to hand. From the early Christian centuries to the rituals of Aleister Crowley, the legacy of Solomonic magic has endured, making it one of the longest and most influential strands in the entire history of Western esotericism. But where did it begin? What are the earliest traces of this magical tradition? What did those first Solomonic texts look like? The birth of the Hygromanteia. The origins of Solomonic magic are deeply intertwined with the world of late antiquity. In this transitional era, pagan and Jewish magical traditions mixed within the Greek-speaking world of the Byzantine Empire. From this convergence emerged one of the earliest full magical texts attributed to Solomon, the Hygromanteia or Hygromancy of Solomon. Initially, this text focused on astrological and planetary magic. It involved the invocation of angels and demons, and the belief in occult powers hidden within natural things, plants, stones, and especially words. Over time, the Hygromanteia evolved to include a vast range of magical techniques, from talismanic magic to invisibility spells, from divination to necromancy, even treasure-finding rituals. This foundational text laid the groundwork for what would become a distinctive and elaborate form of ceremonial magic. It is the earliest known complete expression of Solomonic magical theory and practice. The Macroform, a system of celestial precision. At its core, the Hygromanteia is built on a highly structured system of planetary and angelic magic. This Macroform presents a full astrological framework. Each day of the week is governed by a planet, and each hour of each day has its corresponding ruling spirit, sometimes angelic, sometimes demonic. This wasn't symbolic, it dictated action. The timing of prayers, invocations, and rituals had to align precisely with the right planetary hour. A person seeking protection, wealth, vengeance, or knowledge had to observe these cosmic rhythms to unlock spiritual power. These patterns determined when to speak, when to hide, when to conjure, and when to listen. Solomon, in the text, instructs his son Rehoboam to master this system. He lays out in precise detail how to perform planetary prayers, invoke angels and demons, and craft talismans bearing the characters or magical symbols of each planet. These items were to be made with specific inks, often with animal blood, and written on surfaces like parchment or even vulture skin. Each item was tied to specific rituals and fumigations, unique to the planetary forces being summoned. The Macroform also includes lists of plants associated with the zodiac and planets, giving instructions for their preparation and use. These lists align with earlier classical herbal knowledge, further suggesting the text's ancient roots. Though the stones mentioned in Solomon's letter to Rehoboam are missing from extant versions, the Macroform remains the most coherent and complete early Solomonic magical system we have. Its structure would influence nearly every grimoire that followed. The Microforms, a living, evolving magical tradition. Around this central framework, additional material accumulated, what scholars call the Microforms. These additions were not random. Some were the result of practical experience, magicians recording the results of their rituals or adapting the techniques for specific needs. Others incorporated older magical practices or reflected cultural influences from Italy, Egypt, and beyond. These Microforms include instructions for preparing magical tools like the ritual knife, ink, parchment, and incense. Protective circles are a frequent inclusion, offering safety during spirit evocation. These features reflect a long magical lineage tracing back to ancient rites. Perhaps the most famous Microform is the Ring of Solomon. Described in multiple variants, it was originally said to be made of virgin wax and parchment. later evolving into silver versions engraved with magical names. Its symbols varied across manuscripts, showing how each practitioner customized the tradition. Other popular microforms include summoning rituals for the four-directional spirits, lunaria for moon magic, necromantic rites, and even spells for invisibility. Many of these are only found in specific manuscripts, but enough consistency exists to identify them as part of a broader Solomonic system. This diversity shows that Solomonic magic was not a static doctrine. It was a living tradition, shaped, revised, and reinterpreted by generations of practitioners, each contributing to a growing magical corpus. From Byzantium to the west, the legacy of the Little Key. The Hygromanteia likely made its way from the Byzantine world into the Latin-speaking West through southern Italy, possibly Sicily. There it was translated, adapted, and became the foundation for what we now call the Key of Solomon, or Clavicula Salomonis. By the 17th century, this little key had become a dominant form in Western occultism, giving rise to countless variants, including the infamous Lemegaton, or Lesser Key, which includes the Goetia and its 72 demons. But despite the variations, the core ideas trace back to the Hygromanteia: astrological timing, planetary prayers, angelic and demonic conjurations, and the crafting of talismans. What began as a Greek magical text rooted in Jewish and pagan ideas became one of the central pillars of Western ceremonial magic. It bridged traditions, crossed languages, and survived persecution. And today it continues to be studied, practiced, and revered, a testament to the enduring power of the magician king. Solomon did not just rule a kingdom, he ruled a cosmos, a universe structured by magic, stars, and the secret names of spirits. This is Abyssal Narratives. If you felt the pull of the arcane tonight, subscribe, support the channel, and ring the bell to stay bound to the unknown. More forgotten grimoires, dark histories, and ancient powers await.